Battle of the Beasts for the North American Championship this week. I say championship, it's a bit of a big word. It is a weekly cup, but it has had a lot of really high-level opposition. Maxpax, Dark, Estrella, all these guys already being eliminated. This is BYUN in the top right, coming fresh off some incredible victories, but he is getting absolutely rushed to the face. This is Cure going for the single barracks proxy Reaper in your face, where what he's saying is, I want my first Reaper and this SCV to run in, kill your Reaper. Hopefully the SCV can tank a little bit or maybe even land one hit and just run through and kick some ass. But for now, the barracks timing is almost identical. Oh no, he's actually going to go Marauders, but from there? This seems like such a weird position to go Marauders from. I guess BYUN must be scouting out to the left for proxies a lot. But if that Reaper just hops down, it's going to see this immediately. So it's a little bit weird, man. Oh, the SCV is actually going to lure the Reaper off maybe. Maybe he's like, oh, the Reaper is now going to go to that left side after the SCV. I don't even know. Either way, Concussive is on the way as well as Marauders. Mule, SCV, and a Factory will go down at home. First Reaper's about to pop out. BYUN has done 0 scouting. A nice greedy start for him in this series. He goes out. He goes right back in. He's like, nope. Nope. Now, he could cancel the Reaper and start building Marines if he wants. The Reaper's going to go across the map, which is a bit of a gamble, man. Yeah, well, if that Marauder comes in, he gets surrounded, remember. SCVs beat the crap out of Marauders. That's the kind of funny thing with these Marauder rushes. But he gets a good pull of the SCVs. That disrupts BYUN's economy a fair amount. Another 17 seconds until that's ready. He's going to try and pull back now. If the bunker was there in the middle, it'd be easier to defend. Look at that. The SCV is looking pretty good there. So he's got 5 SCVs off the line. And Kua says, yep, you've respected the push. Let's not overcommit. I reckon you've got the boys pulled. And as the bunker comes up, you're going to see Kua is going to lift this barracks, fly it over here, and use the Marauders in the barracks to pick off these depots. Now, the trick here for BYUN is if you can get this tank out, you can defend it. You can kill those Marauders. But it's very, very hard to actually do because he's trying to repair. He's like, I don't want to lose these depots, man. He should really start a depot like immediately. He's dropping a mule there, pulling 2 more SCVs. You can see that depot is going to fall. Is it though? BYUN trying to focus the SCVs. Doesn't want to lose too many SCVs. Of course, it's better to lose a depot than lose some SCVs for BYUN. But the tank there has 7 range. And it does go down. Oh, BYUN. I wouldn't have sieged the tank. I would have A-moved the tank because it has 7 range. I would have A-moved it. It's kind of dangerous because if it gets tagged, of course, by the Marauders, it's hard to run away. They do 20 damage a shot. It's not going to take too many volleys to kill it, but as it is, he does defend. The Reapers can now leave. Now, if you see that, the Marauders can jump in. So you see how he showed the Reapers leaving, but now the barracks is checking. Because he's like, if there's nothing but one tank, I can just run up the ramp and kill that tank. But the Reapers have to stay at home. The Cyclone is now across. Cure has his natural expansion finished. That almost identical timing to BYUN, except he doesn't have to float it down. And you can see just how powerful the single Tech Lab Proxy Marauder is as a transitionary build. Marine Lord used to love this build. And if you think of like a Terran player who's not really a mechanical god, but would have these amazing tournament runs every now and then, punch well above his weight, at least in terms of mechanics, it was always Marine Lord. Those great series versus Clem and whatnot. Cyclone could use its lock on that barracks. You gotta be real careful here. The Cyclones are looking for the lock on. Oh my god. Q is like, come on, overextend. Let me pick your shit off, bro. The Marauders would love to get a tag here. Okay, he does get, he gets a single tick off on the Marauder, but this is still a very scary situation. I like the tank positioning. If you put it right on the corner, the Cyclones would have been able to run in, lock on, and kick his ass. Cyclone will fall here, but it's going to cost Cure quite a bit. The Raven is a little exposed tank there. And, oh, nice play by Cure. Gets a couple Marines. I think Cure's doing a fantastic job. Doing a lot with a little. Third CC is on the way for both players. They're both building Ravens as well. Very similar timing on those Ravens. It feels like Cure's just got a bit of momentum, so I kind of count him as being ahead. But keep in mind, he's gone triple Cyclone. Quad Cyclone even. He's going 4 Cyclones. Whereas BYUN has gone 2 Siege Tanks. Much better units in the long term. But the Cyclones are real nifty. Especially if you get mag field out. Like when you've got map control like this, it's so cool because it allows you to go heavier on units like Cyclones because you keep your opponent pinned It's harder for him to go around with a Banshee or a drop. That being said, Kua does have a Cyclone and Ravens at home to defend, even if a drop came around. And, I mean, you could go mech off this, right? If you've already got 4 Cyclones, that is an option. Looks like an auto turret went in the main, did 3 SCVs of damage, including slowing down the 3rd command center. Did he lose a Raven? Where is it? No, there it is. It's this Raven here. Marines will be moving down to intercept any more of those. BYUN! Oh no, BYUN! BYUN'S forgotten his command center, guys. It's not building right now. BYUN! BYUN! Oh no! Oh, I always tell you guys, try to target Terran SCVs that are building things. Unlike Zerg and Protoss, if they don't replace that, it's not going to finish building. Oh no, and that goes down. Finally, he starts building that, but that is huge. Oh, that's so painful. 2nd and 3rd barracks are already almost finished, as are the engineering bays. And BYUN at this point is desperate. So he's just going to pick up 2 tanks, 8 Marines. He's going to go all the way around and try to drop in the main. But honestly, there's going to be a Cyclone there. The Ravens, at least if the Ravens aren't at home, it will be hard for Kua to respond. Kua only has a handful of units in there out front. So you know what? As long as Kua doesn't see this coming... Oh, but he has a Marine to spotting. And look at that. Another auto turret goes in. The Raven says, hey, dickhead. Hey, dickhead, enjoy that auto turret harassment. There's more where that came from. There's a lot more where that came from. BYUN is way behind in this game. This is it. It's the Hail Mary. Is Kua going to respond? Kua's not watching. Kua didn't notice it. Oh, yes, he did. Yes, he did. He's reacting. But he's going to send his Ravens in. I mean, BYUN's economy is in Dicktown right now. 6 kills on that Raven and so much mining time. Oh, he's even brought a Raven. Has BYUN. He's going to throw some auto turrets out. 1 medevac goes down. He does get some Marines out there, some auto turrets. A lot of SCVs will be falling, and these Vikings will take some damage as well. Of course, BYUN, if he doesn't have a scan, is going to struggle. These tanks, though, look at that. This is actually really nice damage to start. Unfortunately, oh no! Guys, triple cyclone snipe! Triple cyclone snipe! He's got to repair right now. He's got to repair right now. Pull the SCVs, pull the SCVs. BYUN, he's going to lose the command center. Meanwhile, his tank Marine is doing a lot of damage in the main, but he hasn't pulled the SCVs, guys. And he's attacking the tech lab, and he's only pulled like 4. Okay, oh, thank God. He managed to survive there, guys, because I guess it's only... Oh, they don't have mag field. So it's only 1,200 hit points, so they could not kill a command center. If it was mag field, that would have been a dead command center, 100%. And I think Q is regretting not investing in mag field in this game now. He's thinking about inching his tanks forward. BYUN, of course, doesn't have scans going down, so... Oh, Q is just going to bust on forwards. Actually didn't get his tank sieged in range. Oh, this one did, but not the one on the back. Finally cleans up his main base. 8 more SCVs go down. BYUN's economy has taken a bruising from these friggin' Ravens, man. BYUN is in a chaotic place. If I ever have seen a player who is just pure chaos, Kua is like calm, organized determination, right? Kua was always kind of more of like a B-teamer guy back in the day, and he was always a grinder and a guy who's like, I will just get better, little piece by little piece, years of hard work. BYUN's always been more of an intuitive kind of, yeah, let's fucking go! We're just making up crazy moves on the fly. Whereas Q has been doing safe, solid, standard, and seems like Q is a bit less phased now as he's evolved into his current Q state, where he's very comfortable in games where all sorts of things happen. Finally, a Viking is building for BYUN, but this Raven has been such trouble for him. Still down 6 workers, but as the dust settles, I mean, he's not that far behind on the upgrades. His 1-1's almost finished as the armory finishes up for Q. That being said, he hasn't started his armory, so he's definitely going to be behind on 2-2. And that Raven avoids the Viking, gets 1, 2, 3 SCVs and a Marine. And the Viking is like, fucking leave, bro. Leave. The Raven's like, yeah, okay, no worries. No, dude, I've already done what I want to do. I've got 17 kills. I've literally ruined your economy. And by the way, I have 4.13 move speed. You've got less move speed than me. Vikings not as fast as Ravens. So Raven just gets out of there, man. That means you've still got 3 Ravens alive versus a Terran who has no Ravens. Almost equal tanks. You've got a few more Marines. You've got these 3 Cyclones for utility. And you're up a good 8 or 9 workers. Kua is far ahead in this TvT. He's got also a big lead on his 2-2. Magfield is being upgraded now. He's like, hey, I still have 3 Cyclones. I might as well just give them the ability to try and snipe the 4th command center. That's what Maru did to Kua on this map in Civil War, right? He actually, as his command center floated over, Maru sniped it with triple Cyclones lock-ons. Oh, man. The drop. Big old doom drop from BYUN. Is it desperation or is it a clever move? Oh! 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 Oh, thankfully no mag field yet. But dude, oh, he's going to lose at least 2 medevacs here. Well, only one of them actually goes down. Good pullback by BYUN. If he could boost and pick up the tank would be cool, but there's Vikings on his face. He does have a good tank line on the top side, but on the right side, not so much. Those Marines are in a really derpy position right now. He's going to have to move these other tanks down. Interference matrix does go up, but it's not really going to achieve that much. The Viking advantage with those 3 Ravens going to create an awkward position. Allow him to snipe the sensor tower. 4th base going up on location there. Cyclone still up to the top left, looking to potentially deny a 4th command center that goes up. BYUN goes for the YOLO. Is it a counterattack or is it a backstab though? Is he surrounding him? Or is he doing something else? BYUN's rally point getting him in trouble right now. You can see he takes the watchtower. The Marines are there, but Cure, he's still got the sensor tower. He's got pretty good vision. And if you stim in from this angle, yeah, you might be able to bust it, but I would actually only do it if I also had 8 Marines coming from the left side. If BYUN gets 8 Marines over there and then just moves the tanks in range and sieges them while stimming from the right and the left, I think he can clean this up very well. Cure gathering up his units at home, trying to just set this up as a problem for BYUN to solve. BYUN's 4th command center is almost finished in the main base. And you can see he spots this army. BYUN, oh, 2-2's done for Cure, guys. He's got a better force here. Oh, BYUN does have more Marines. Oh, the 2-2's too good though. 2-2's too good. BYUN gonna tap out in game 1. Bit of an early GG, but fair enough. It's pretty far behind after losing that. All right, we're gonna give you some action-packed games like that. Fingers crossed. Let's keep it up. Let's keep it going. I love those action-packed games with the fighting from start to finish. We've got BYUN in the bottom left side playing a bit more standard, but I love the way Cure did that. Cyclone opening, got some sick value out of it. And bring me some more of that badass stuff. I love the Proxy Marauder into Quad Cyclone. Got to try that build order, man. And he got into a solid macro position off it as well. Raven run-bys. Did take a lot of damage from the sneaky drop of BYUN, but despite that, the Ravens just did too much damage. Still in the lead, even after that tank Marine drop in the back. We saw the power of bringing a Raven with your tank Marine drop as well. I think those 3 auto turrets really smashed the Vikings and the SCVs that got pulled initially. So Barracks double gas here. Now Cure really likes to go for an SCV scout. So I wouldn't be surprised if this SCV or one of his other ones goes out to scout while doing this double gas opening. BYUN, on the other hand, played completely blind game 1. And it looks like he might be doing it again game 2. Look, he's already queued the depot up with this SCV as well. Wow, he queues it so long ahead of time just because he's like, well, you have excess minerals at this point in the game. Why the heckity diddles not? Cure builds his depot way earlier. So I actually like that BYUN uses the same builder SCV for it. So you're not pulling SCVs on and off minerals. Now, on the other hand, he does pull an SCV off one of the close mineral patches to build his factory. Would have preferred him pulling one of the ones off one of the less efficient mineral patches. So there's a slight little mistake there that he's not optimizing that. But either way, both players are playing completely blind right now. This is what we call Illidan TvT, guys. So where both dudes go, hey, I'm going to sit in my dark dungeon with me blindfold on. The other one's like, oh, yeah, me too, bro. And you're like, okay. All right, that's kind of fucking dangerous, man. A lot of things that could kill you here. But hey, you're looking for the fastest possible command center. Why the heckity diddles not? BYUN is going to get that command center down a second sooner, I believe. Or is he? No, he's not. Looks like Cure, 2 seconds out on the CC. Easy win. And he's gone for the faster reactor as well. Whereas BYUN is just going Reaper, Hellion, Reaper, Hellion. So he goes 2 Reaper, Hellion into a reactor. Whereas Cure is 1 Reaper. Super greedy opening. Like, no scouting, imagine if he just runs in with 2 Reapers right now. Like, you just die. Imagine if he proxy racks Reapers here. Jesus, Cure. Greedy, 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 but he gets away with it. Starport's down a little quicker there for Mr. BYUN. We'll see if he's in BYUN stoppable mode or something else. I had a few people ask me about the Icy Far challenge. They said, hey, you know, it's a bit of a silly one. It's you know, you're not allowed to expand and stuff until after the 5-minute mark. They said, what about non-mining proxy hatcheries? Does that count? What about an offensive next? I mean, guys, as always, you can always bend the rules or interpret it to yourself. You know, a lot of people always want to clarify things. I'm like, guys, if it seems like it fits, it probably fits. You know, The most important part is entertaining games. If you're submitting your own replays for iCast Your Freaking Awesome Replays, it's, try to follow the challenge as best you can. But if the point of a challenge is, hey, we want you to get really aggressive on one base, and you're building a forward hatchery to do that, of course we're going to be down with that. Wow, 5 Reapers, 3 Hellions for Cure up against, oh no. Get out of there, Beyond. Or does Beyond continue across the map? If I were him, I would go home. Beyond, he's going to try and pull the SCVs, get to the high ground. Oh, he gets, get up. Okay, the Widow Mine does kill a Hellion. He gets some really good damage, and there's a Cyclone here. Oh, this is looking pretty good for Beyond, but his medevac needs to bloody get in there, doesn't it? Oh man, he's not shoving it in. Shove it in, bro. You got to shove it in right now. Get in there, Beyond. Okay, Beyond is going to now jam this drop in there. Cure is going to pull back to the high ground. I think Beyond could have chased those SCVs down a lot harder, but he's playing it very conservative. When you see that much Reaper Hellion, you know their Cyclone and whatnot is very delayed. He's just going to target the refinery and try to get out of there. Time to get out. Beyond, he does lose 1 unit and takes a few ticks of the Cyclone on his medevac, but I think it's not too bad because it does force him home, keeps the medevac alive, keeps some pressure there, and what could have very quickly devolved into a game-ending situation ends up being what looks like a small advantage for Beyond. So you can see 3 on each gas there, 3 on each there. Both of them on 3 gas, Ravens and tanks on both sides. Nothing peculiar about that. It's just that Q is a bit behind on the factory production because he built the extra Hellions and Reapers. 4 Reapers getting ready for a backstab. Beyond realizing that if he goes out and pressures with all of his units, those things could come in. So he's got a Cyclone on the left side. Beyond does not want to suffer a Raven getting in his back door like last game. He's just going to always leave that Cyclone here most likely. And he drops that 3rd CC. Cure very similarly timed. And goes for that 4th gas, guys. A Reaper's just poking around looking for a little bit of information. Hellion Cyclone at home. Is he actually pushing out or is he just no? No, okay. Q is just taking position outside of his base. A little bit of a preemptive setup. Now, whoever goes in with their Reapers first will lose them for free. And Beyond is the one who gets impatient. Is like, I need some scouting, bro. What are you doing in here? Sees the 3rd CC, sees a completely normal setup. And as I said, oh, he actually gets the SCV on the command center. Unlike Beyond, though, Q immediately fixes that and puts that SCV back on the CC. Man, now we talked about Illidan TvT, putting your blindfold on. Now I'm just thinking about how cool Starfall was the first time I saw that ability in Warcraft 3. Not many RTSs that allow you to do that. It's kind of like, just imagine if you kill 100 of your opponent's units in a game, you hit like some XP meter, and you get the orbital bombardment ability from like Legacy of the Void. You just bring down a giant sky laser on the screen to like kill their army. If only multiplayer was more like co-op, it would be kind of sick. Kua is a bit ahead in the SCVs right now, despite the fact that Beyond had it earlier. And that tells us Q is doing a better job with his macro. Q is just hitting his SCV production, keeping it going, keeping it fluid. Beyond's missing it a little bit more and is a bit slower to float his 3rd down. Now in the unit production, it's almost identical. The only difference is there is a 3rd Raven for Cure. Slight Viking advantage for Beyond, but only very slight. And I think on this side of the map, it's identical. Yeah, this is going to be really close. Nice interference matrix, but I don't like this push from Beyond at all. I mean, he gets a bit of a siege up. He does get the auto turrets out of Cure at least. He gets some good tank shots off at least. And if he gets his tanks in range of the command center, that would be very nice. I think he's in range of at least the gas guys are there. The Viking count does go to Cure though. He's going to go for the Raven. Nice focus fire. Well worth trading a Viking for Cure's Raven there. Beyond now going to rotate to that left side. Maybe threaten moving forward there would be cool. Of course, you got to be very cautious as Cure. You're like, man, what are you doing? Where are you right now? Behind this, Beyond getting his armory down. The armory, I don't think has started yet for Cure. Cure's a little behind the upgrades. I like the forward siege location. A few of the units stumble in. Cure confidently just goes for it though, and he gets the full energy Raven. Beyond doesn't get any spells out of it, but his Marine rally is here. And oh, big mistake by Cure because he got the Raven before it dropped energy. spells down. He thought that was going to be awesome, but look at that. Even before killing the tank, BYUN is already trying to get a siege up on this base. BYUN's like, oh, this might just be a free win now. You attacked into my siege up. How dare you? How dare you, bro? And look at that. Siege tank is in range. He's going to try and move this tank around down there. Nice lock on there with the scan. And another tank in range of the command center. At this point, you stop dropping mules, save it all for scans. He's going to swap his barracks off the reactor so we can get a factory on the second tech lab. He's getting the third base. This is not about killing Cure. It's about forcing Cure to lift the base and move it to the other location and macroing smoothly behind it. This is how you build advantages in TvT, guys. It's not about running through the front and killing them. It's, hey, I'm here. You have to fight me. As I say that, BYUN runs in and tries to kill him. Literally changes... Ugh. I was about to prove a point about how you had him pinned and he had to come to you, but BYUN there gets a bit of a stiffy and does just try to get the win. Maybe a little over-eager. It was still 13 SCV kills, so it's still good. But yeah, BYUN's getting very eager, and that's how he's been playing today. He's like, oh, opportunity. And you can kind of almost see him like stopping breathing and just starting to like get very, very frantic in his play. And it gives him the opportunity to dive on top and play really fast. It also means you start to see a lot more misclicks, though, in his play. When he starts getting frantic, BYUN plays a bit sloppier. You can see that Q has less APM, but that's because there's a little bit more meaning and organization in his actions, in my opinion. So a great little drop here. I think this is a very, it's an expendable group of units. Handful of Marines, a tank, 2 medevacs. Already the mining time's huge. I would have tried to focus the reactors if I were him. As it is, he's going to go down and try and get rid of the Liberator. Does get rid of the Liberator, a Viking, and then he just pulls back with the drop. Don't drop again. Okay, as I said, he's getting way too excited right now. You know he's going to have units there. Oh, actually, okay, well, you know what? That's going to be really annoying to play against. He's just being a bit of a dickhead. And you know what? Not a bad way to throw your opponent off their game. As long as you are hitting your macro behind it. And hey, the production tab definitely looks like he is. He's got a second factory up. Q has not even started the second factory. Q is trying to make a fourth command center. Fourth command center is already turning into a planetary on location for Mr. BYUN. BYUN's going to try and drop that base one more time. And he's just gathering up to win the fight on the front. He's realizing, hey, you know what? I'm pretty far ahead. As long as I win the frontal fight, that's good. So I like the maturity to just send a few units in for the run bys. Gets a cancel on the fourth. But he gathers up most of his units at home. When you've already traded army for eco damage, if you throw too many units away, they can kill you with a counterattack. But the way he's done it here has been pretty well organized. I really like it. And does finally get defended, but another 11 SCVs go down. And at this point, I think you go from focusing on the backstabs back to focusing on the frontal pushes. You go, you know what? Let's once again try and push the front, focus on winning that. And that's a good general rule because the more you backstab, like I said, the smaller your army gets compared to theirs. In this case, BYUN's just winning overall. He's got 10 army supply, 10 workers, but still, there's always a chance they take a good fight. So as a general rule, that's a good way to go about it. You can see he's still trying to do kind of the cheeky run bys. Doesn't find anything this time. Throws away a couple of units. But I think, hey, you've got a good tank count. You're pumping him 2 at a time, or you should be. Did he forget to control group his factories? No. He's got both of them on there. He's just been queuing up Marines and medevacs a little bit more. And as a result, you can see, there we go. 2 tanks do queue up. Hitting a slight supply block is BYUN. 2 Vikings and some Marines there do spot. Q is out on this side of the map. I'd be hunting those Marines if I was BYUN. BYUN's trying to shove it, but he might surround himself. Yeah, just deal with the Marines on the left. I think BYUN there looking for the opportunistic dives. I love it, but it scares the shit out of me the way he's like constantly eyeballing an opportunity to get the kill. And I feel like Q here is trying to do defense master. He's trying to stay calm, patient, and see if he can do it. Okay, the Marines over there as well. The tanks, Marines, Vikings. Marines on the bottom left. We've got a double drop going around the top side. He could go into the natural, but Q are anticipating this. Oh, but he unloads. So it's actually okay for BYUN because he unloads. BYUN's not really getting the fight that he needs yet. He's going for the Starport Raven transition. Does he have enough units at home? I think with the tank and the sensor tower and the rally, he should be okay. I definitely would be trying to hunt that down, but because he doesn't have any Vikings right now, it's hard. He can always pick up and hide off on the edge of the map. Now, BYUN's still looking for that angle, and oh, he finds it! There's only 1 tank here, guys. And that tank goes down, and goodbye, command center. You can't keep up with this, and BYUN moving around the map manages to outflank and outposition Cure. That Marine forward move does get a bit wasteful. Here we go. He's going to jump in on top, trying to drop on top of the CG tankies. The Marines do deal with it pretty well. And that ends up being a pretty sloppy trade. BYUN, I really relate to his play right now. It feels so intuitive and kind of unplanned, whereas Kua feels so methodical. It's just move your tanks and marines to defend, split one squad off that is a little bit more wild in its movement, but everything else is super safe, while this one squad moves around the map in a much more dangerous and chaotic manner. And getting a lot of these marines run down. He's trapped. He's trapped. Kua's marine squad finally gets surrounded. He's going to try to take an opportunity to break the tank line of BYUN, and maybe that does something for him. He breaks the tanks. BYUN, though, out with a vengeance, says, hey, I've got way more marines than you. I've got 3-3 versus 2-2. Cleans up those tanks on the right. The Vikings get some damage there. Kua's fighting very well from behind. Still got a tank and a planetary on the left. BYUN, though, out positioning him, running in circles. And he ends up taking the game, tying up the series 1-1. That's right, we got a series on our hand. Heck yeah. All right, guys, a very slow start here to the third game in this series. BYUN in the top left, once again playing Blind Boy Illidan TvT. Kua, on the other hand, going for that famous SCV scout that he does love to do, even when he's doing this very safe double gas build. So Kua there, playing with a bit more vision. BYUN, I mean, I talked a lot a year and a half ago when I was casting heaps of BYUN. I'm like, BYUN does not like scouting. And he started scouting a lot more recently, but it feels like in this meta between him and Kua, they play a lot of online cups together. He's kind of decided, you know what, I mean, you're kind of predictable. I don't think I need to scout. And Kua opened up the series bucking that trend with the Marauders into the Cyclones, right? But I think this is still a very good read from BYUN to just kind of say, you know what, you like to just sink back into your rhythm. What was he doing earlier today in TVP? Kua was like, I make a Widowmine drop, then I do a tank and a Raven, and then I do 3 racks, and I do a push while taking my 3rd command center. It's like, oh wow, you're extra vanilla flavored vanilla ice cream, are you? Oh yeah? You wanna jazz that up a little bit? He's like, oh no, I put some pepper on my dinner yesterday. I've had enough spice for this entire week. And I'm like, oh Jesus Christ, Kua. Oh my Lord. You remind me of my, you used to have a housemate once back in the day. And he's like, oh, were you cooking with pepper? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, why? And he's like, I can taste it. I'm like, what? From the fry pan? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, I washed it after I was done. He's like, I can taste it though. I can taste something peppery. And I'm like, this is all in your head. I'm like, there's no way. That doesn't even make any sense, dude. You could taste the pepper. No one even knows what pepper tastes like. It's one of those things you just throw into food because like it's a thing you do, you know? No one knows what pepper tastes like. That's crazy. It's not even spice. I'm like, this is insane. It just gives some sort of vague generic flavoring. Anyways, BYUN is going to be going, what, Cyclone Medevac, eh? Ah, cool. BYUN loves Medevac TvT. Q is going 3 Reaper 2 Hellion, but he's sitting at home. So it's I'm building a lot of units early, but I'm hoping that you attack into me and I can kill your stuff. Not as effective at dealing with the Medevac, but it should be a mobile enough squad. As long as he doesn't move out right now, he can deal with the drop. And he's going straight Raven Cyclone. Okay, cool. 3rd gas is on the way. A little bit later there for BYUN. It's already mining for a little while for Kua. And yeah, should be Ravens starting up for BYUN. Don't miss that Raven production. Very important to get that started. Already about 30 seconds behind as you did invest in the Medevac. And Kua here. I think he's realizing, okay, it's about drop o'clock. Drops could be coming in at this point. But notice he comes in from the edge. Now he uses his boost on the way in. I have a rule which is never use your boost on the way in, and this is why. It's because he's about to lose the Medevac. Oh, Kua wasted his lock on. Oh, Kua messed up and he didn't lock onto the Medevac. He used it on one of the other units, and so BYUN, the breaking my rule of never boost on the way in. And obviously, I mean, there's always a situation where you can break the rule, right? There is always a situation where you can break the rule, but as a general rule, don't do it. Don't boost on the way in. The only reason would be if you know where all your opponent's resources and units are, and so you're not really worried about it. But BYUN gets out of there scot-free. His very dangerous drops are something that do... if there's anything that's like, hey, what's BYUN's flair? What's his specialty? Well, Kua might be some vanilla ice cream. BYUN, on the other hand, is some psycho drop ice cream. He flies his medevacs into some of the most dangerous positions ever. Factories there, 3rd CC, starport in the barracks. Okay, what do we got? Depots building for both sides. I mean, there's no real big moves coming out, but Oh, wait. One Raven into Vikings? Oh, so BYUN'S going early air superiority. But I think this is good for Cure. If he went 3 Ravens, he might not be able to match the Vikings. Because he's gone 2 Ravens into the reactor, he's going to have both one more Raven for utility, and he's going to be able to match the Viking count, at least on the defense, if not the offense. We can see those 2 Vikings popping at almost identical timings. They just popped out here for BYUN, and they just popped out for Cure. Cure, as well, starts up his next pair a bit earlier, so he's actually a little ahead on the Viking count, and he's got the Ravens there as well. So he's got that air advantage. They both have the same tank count. Fights could still unravel in many different ways in this game, but it feels like it's definitely going to be progressing forwards to a bit later. What do we got? Sneaky Viking Raven. He's looking for drops. Do these units see each other? Oh, he sees the Hellions and the Reapers, but Cure must have seen it just from the way he's moving. He must have caught a glimpse of that. So he's got to be like, what's going on out there? Watchtower control for BYUN does give him a lot of information. 4th and 5th barracks, or no, that's only 2nd and 3rd barracks. It feels like BYUN's a little ahead on the production of the building transition. And oh, there was a Widow Mine. I was like, how is BYUN winning this fight? I had no idea there was a Widow Mine there. Super sick plays by BYUN. That Widow Mine paid for itself. So units lost tab looking great for him. Wins the Cyclone trade, so he's still got that Cyclone there. And worker count's identical this time around. Now, BYUN does leave his 2 tanks behind. If he wants to push, he's got to bring those tanks. When your opponent scans, it does bring your eyeballs to that scan, because you're kind of going, hey, what did they see? So BYUN realizes, brings the tanks forward. Cure with a bit of an ambush, though. BYUN doesn't know about that. Good scan. Don't be stumbling into that position, mate. He's going to go to the right side instead. And Cure's like, okay, dickhead. Marine's like, yep. Don't really see him just yet. I'll let you know if they continue this way. BYUN doing the old back and forth, which is it the right? Is it the left? Is it the right? Is it the left? Cure's like, okay, you cheeky bugger. It looks like an 8 Marine drop. We'll sneak out that right side. 2 Marines cleaning that guy up. I like this. He's cleaning up the vision. He's going to try and sneak the drop into the back while threatening at the front. Now, during this, BYUN's actually gotten ahead on SCVs. He's ahead on the 4th and 5th barracks. And Armory does go down earlier. So he's applying pressure by threatening to attack. And he's actually just macroing better behind it because Cure has to worry so much about where he's going to get hit from. Oh, Marine drop on the right side comes in. Very nice. So he'll be able to get a little bit of damage here. He's actually going to leave those Marines there and drop a few more in the main. I think it's worth it. Mining time, 2 SCVs, a Viking, a turret that was building, you know, for 5 Marines, definitely worth. And there is a siege tank here. Doesn't have combat shields, so pretty good cleanup for Cure. Now, Cyclone in the bottom cleans up the SCV. We'll now start cleaning up the depot. That medevac still hiding in the back does actually survive for now. If we check the unit count, equal tanks, a few more Marines for BYUN. And remember, the Viking count, actually massive Viking Raven advantage for Cure. So for Cure in this sort of game, usually what you want to do, 4th command center and get a quick 2nd factory. So now he's got his 5th barracks. He should actually be lifting this barracks off and already going straight for 2nd factory, because to make the Viking Raven worthwhile, you actually need to go for siege tanks. And I normally don't feel like a wizard when I call things to the 2nd like this, but just I'm very happy that I actually understand, because when you're pinned like this, you're not going to be doing a big Marine tank push, right? This makes me feel like playing Terran for 4 months to gain 200 MMR only was actually worth it, because I may not have moved up the ladder a lot, but I studied the builds a lot, okay? I learned about the game. And, you know, it felt pretty good. It felt pretty good to see that go down right at that exact moment. Now, obviously, BYUN's not too far behind anyway. He's doing the same thing. But I do think there's going to be a big focus on just keep the Viking advantage all game, keep building tanks, and then just swap to Ravens and just play the late game. So look at this. He's like, yep. The classic Maru move, never move out with your tanks. Always stay up with sensor towers, turrets, just defend really well. He started to build some turrets. He definitely could use a few more in the main, and rebuilding a few on that right side as well. So I do think Q is he could have a few more tanks sieged everywhere and a bit more defense. But he's just going to send a low-risk drop around. Now, the Planetary should finish up just in time. It does get +2 armor when it finishes, of course. Marines are very clumped, and look at how quickly they die. Takes out them pretty damn fast. The turret was also doing some good damage there. Marines do stim in at the same time. A double drop goes in. As I said, a few more turrets in the main would definitely be very good. BYUN, he's got to focus those E-bays down. He's going to do it! Oh my god, he was already ahead on upgrades. If he could focus the other engineering bay, that would be massive. This is so much time invested in these upgrades. A good minute plus the engineering bay build time. he gets some great value, and he will clean up a few Marines. Obviously, that's a bit of a trade. The auto turret really helped there, make that worthwhile for Cure in terms of the auto turret Marine trade. But other than that, that was fantastic. BYUN loses a bunch of SCVs. He loses about 10, but he can just repair this. You just right-click that and then shift-click on the minerals is normally what you do here. BYUN not using shift quite as much as he could. He's going to go for a tank and 12 Marines to drop that main base one more time. You can see he's already queued that. That's what I call a chaos drop, guys. I don't advise this at low leagues, but if you're BYUN and you have 400 APM, you can do it. Oh, big matrixes. This could be the fight Cure was looking for. He has an absolute onslaught of siege tanks there. He takes the high ground and he shits all over BYUN's army. BYUN, who was looking in the lead for a lot of this game, is in big trubs, man. He just lost a lot of siege tanks. Yes, he's got another drop going in the main. He could find more damage. He's up in the upgrades and so on. He's also building 16 Marines. He's got 8 barracks. 8 barracks on reactors. Oh my. So BYUN wants to keep the movement going. He does not want to go to the Raven tank stage. If Cure knew this, he would turtle up twice as hard. He wouldn't even be thinking about breaking this. He's going to shove forward and clear these tanks out. But once again, it's the drop in the main that's going to do the damage. You can see out here, he's going to try and land Vikings. This could be a bit wasteful for Cure. As I said, Cure really needs to just turtle up. But look at this. This is allowing BYUN to trade with you. And it's a messy situation. Cure is like, that's it. I'll just fucking crush your army and go through the middle. And who knows, maybe? But there's another tank back there. These tanks are doing decently. BYUN really should be pulling further back here, I think. But he's getting some nice siege tank shots off. And look at that. Yeah, tank's getting some pretty beautiful shots. Look at how weak all these tanks are for Cure, man. I mean, BYUN's still rallying into it, which is very sloppy. But you can see how desperate the move is. The eBays go down again. The push is held in the middle. And Cure, if he knew about this, dude, he would have had more turrets. He never built the turrets on the right or the bottom left. And you can see that his sensor towers, while they're kind of good utility towers, they don't actually shut down your opponent from dropping you or anything like that. So definitely nice moves by BYUN to get on through. And Cure, he just needed to keep tank sieged everywhere and stop thinking of his army as being so mobile. And very well played by BYUN, playing a much heavier Marine tank medevac movement style. Cure needed to just lock down the movement and not give an opportunity to rotate. But BYUN found his way in there, gets the 2-1 lead. All right, guys, let's go up here in the top left. It is BYUN. He's looking for the 3-1 finish. He's been a bit excited and antsy all day today, but I have not minded it at all. He's going to go 2 barracks opening up against Cure in the bottom right. It's going, I think, SCV scout for sure when he's on match point. He could lose if he loses this game, so I think he'll send this SCV to go at least look for proxies, probably go across the map. Doesn't he normally scout an 18 if he does that, though? Yeah, he's already queued this SCV to build a depot over here to spot Reapers jumping in, interestingly. Someone was pointing out in that last game that he would have had the Viking lead even after landing them. The thing is, it just kind of showed that he needed to just go back, clean up units, and just keep the Viking advantage. He didn't need to keep building Vikings, of course. He should have been building Libs already in that last game, Cure. But I think it just showed that he's like, oh, let's fuck this tank push up, when he really needed to just focus on cleaning it. It wasn't that many units in his main. It was a tank and 12 Marines. Like, he could have cleaned it up, but he was like, I'm going to break out, man. It's like, dude, you're on 4 base. You don't need to break out. You just need to survive. Every minute that goes by, they were both mining so many resources. The guy with Marine tank, if you just stay sieged up in very defensive positions and spreads and you don't let him out drop you and out position you, you can do pretty darn well. Why didn't Cure just patrol a few Vikings on the edge? Well, I mean, he built 1 turret. If he had 3 or 4 turrets, it would have been fine. He didn't need Vikings. But yeah, he just clearly screwed up. Like I said, I mean, he was also only leaving 1 or 2 tank siege at each bases, and the rest were running around in a big clump. So even though it felt like Cure responded to the situation the way he should have, it's a little awkward in the way he did it. Oh no, Cure messes up his control, but that's okay because the Hellion saves the day. So 2 Reapers will go down for BYUN, but he does kill the SCV on the command center, so that's quite a bit of a delay. Yeah, he loses an extra Reaper, but I think you're okay with this scenario as BYUN. And remember, this is a 2-Rex Reaper, so if you get antsy with your counterattack as Cure, definitely could end up in trubs. 3 Reapers will get flanked, though. 2 Hellion, 2 Reaper kicks the shit out of 3 Reapers, but 3 Reapers and a Hellion, and oh, Cure, don't go in there. Don't go in there, Cure. You're going to get surrounded, boy. Uh-oh. I don't know what that voice was even supposed to be. Excited Terran, I'm going to call it. Nice fight for BYUN though, and oh man, he kills a lot of these units, dude. I don't think Kua quite realized that this was a double barracks opening. I think he was like, oh, that was just 2 Reapers off 1 barracks, right? And it's like, no, dude, this is a 2 racks opening. BYUN needs to be given these opportunities to fight and trade units to make his build worthwhile, and Kua's gone ahead, counterattacked into it, given him that opportunity, and he sees now no add-on on the barracks, and Kua's like, oh, what the hell? I've massively misread this game. Look at that, the Reapers jump in. There will be a Cyclone out momentarily, but, oh, he's already losing 3 SCVs. Does a bit of a dodgy grenade. He's going to try and bounce that Cyclone away. Cyclone does not get the lock. Hellion does go down after killing a Marine or 2. Reapers will now leave. Okay, so afterwards, we've got a Banshee on the way, just for a bit of extra general fighting power. Can still use that to harass. Only now are the add-ons going down for BYUN. He's got a reactor on the top right. He's adding a tech lab on the second barracks, and he's going to be going for a medevac, and it looks like a Cyclone. Very necessary to deal with the incoming Banshee, which will, of course, arrive at his natural in about a minute's time and start picking off SCVs. As long as you have a Cyclone around, you'll be good, but he's going Marine tank. Oh, BYUN is thinking only about attacking. And normally not an amazing unit, the unupgraded Banshee. But if your opponent only has unupgraded Marines to shoot up against it, ooh, it's suddenly going to be a real thorn in BYUN's side. And by simply doing that, it also could scout, hey, why don't you have Cyclones? You know, why? You're just focusing on the aggression, aren't you? Oh, you know, you're being a naughty boy. 5 Marine drop goes across the map. That could do some damage, but Kua's got a squad to respond to it. Kua's not behind on SCVs. This Banshee already finds its very first kill. And there's nothing that shoots up at home. The medevac turns around for a moment and he's like, oh, fudge. Fudgety shitballs, I think, is all that BYUN can say right now. The one game where you don't build the Cyclone is always the game where they build the Banshee. It's good to see that BYUN here in the grand finals, the ESL NA Weekly, is experiencing the same thing I experience every down the ladder. I will build a Cyclone 9 out of 10 games. The one game where I skip the Cyclone is the game where the Banshee comes in and ruins my day. BYUN having the exact same experience, and you see the Banshee just floating on the edge. La 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 la. Well worth it. It did so much damage. And now you've actually got a better army potentially, even as well as Kua. Of course, Stim is going to be finished soon, and when you do get that Marine count up, that can be very effective. He's going to go for a 7 Marine drop across the map. Kua is going to be playing a more standard style tanks, Ravens, all that stuff. But the second barracks affords you the Stim. The combat shields will come in behind that. You do have some more aggressive capabilities. You've got this little mobile squad for map control. He loses 1 Hellion there. The other one almost dies. Marine drop will run into the Cyclone. Now, if you boost on top, you can unload and kill the Cyclone real quick. Let's see who reacts faster. Raven's coming in to harass him as well. He sees the Cyclone and turns around. BYUN playing it safe. That crazy aggressive BYUN that we sometimes do know and love. We're not going to be showing his face here right now. And does manage to deflect the first auto turret, but Kua comes right back in with that Raven. And he's like, hey, buddy. And this time, though, look at that. Only 1 SCV. That's a bit better. I think, did he get the second one there? Or was that from the previous Raven? I'm not quite sure. Either way, not too many SCVs dying in the follow-up waves. Third command center building on location. Now, with BYUN, got to get the Marine advantage, but he's only got 13 Marines. He's missing Marine production. He's building Vikings? Oh no, this is not how you play this style. You can't swap into Vikings as BYUN. That doesn't make sense. I guess he just wants to get rid of the Raven because the Raven traumatized him back on 2K atmospheres, but he needs to be doing nothing but Marines and tanks. He's trying to transition into a macro game. I mean, he's still got Stim. Shields is not going to be ready in time. I mean, Q is in position. There's no way, man. I like the way he continues with the Reapers and the Cyclone, trying to kind of pretend he's over there, but Q scans. He says, nope, you're rotating. I knew it. Look at that. BYUN, just outside of vision. He's waiting, and the moment the scan disappears, he moves right into the vision. So Kua does not know that his army is so close there. This is just great elusive play by BYUN. And Kua gets caught off by it. Kua, even a super veteran player like Kua, does not think his army could be that deep right now. Oh, this is huge. And look at that. Now, Kua does have interference matrix. He's got the Ravens and whatnot. But that tank in the back still doing great damage. The Marines diving in deep and hard. And he says, hey, if your tanks are sieged there, that means it's just my Marines with Stim and medevacs versus your unupgraded Marines. And look at, oh, the upgrades! Not again! Okay, auto turrets will come in. He's going to try and boost out of there. Where's the boost? Where's the boost? He's going to have to unload in the main base, but with another tank siege there, he's not really going to achieve much with this. Maybe get a Raven? Ooh, he gets a Raven. I mean, yeah, you take what you can get at that point. He already killed 28 workers with... Oh, man, he landed 2 Vikings in the third as well. Very cute multi-prong. The question is, can he defend the counterattack? And the answer is no, guys. This is going to go to game 5. I hate to call it right now. You're like, what are you talking about, Pig? He just murdered Kyo's corner. Guys, he cannot defend the counterattack. Because we've got a Raven. Okay, that's only got 1 auto turret. But 6 Vikings that are going to land on his siege tanks. And 6 siege tanks. As long as all those tanks come to the front, I don't see BYUN being able to be able to do anything. Now, BYUN moving out into the middle of the map is very smart. Because he's realizing, I need to slow your push down, right? If I can just force you to siege, unsiege, move forward. Look at this. His tanks are actually blocked right now, so they're going all the way around. You need to pull SCVs. As BYUN, like, when he unsieges most of his tanks, you need to pull your boys and just stim and A-move on it. But this is too much of a choke point. So right now, he's going to go for the droppy flank. Droppy flank is always a good move. He could just land Vikings there. BYUN, BYUN's like, shit, pull the boys. He's got to pull the boys right now. Oh, man, and Stim's done for Kua. GG. Yep, Kua's got it. There's just no way, man. Even though he did great damage, he lost so much army. He didn't really kill any of Kua's army. And yeah, Kua's army wasn't really built for a marine tank timing at this point, but it doesn't matter. He's got Stim. He has +1 armor, no attack on his marines. This tank and a handful of marines are going to try and defend, but Kua's just got too many CG tankies, man. Too many tankies on the dance floor. And as I said, he needed to like pull all the SCVs and the Marines and try to stim forward, hopefully catch Kua unsieged. Nice counterattack from Kua there. Does tie up the series. We are going game 5. All right. It's game 5, ladies and gentlemen. Zealot Zergans, Marines, and of course, those very, very excited SCVs who are watching right now, trying to learn from these beasts. We've got Shopify Rebellions BYUN in the bottom left, Kua in the top right. And what is exciting about this game is that it's game 5, it's Glittering Ashes, and I wonder a few things. Number one, I was going to say, is BYUN brave enough to just not scout once again at all? And it looks like the answer might be yes. And number 2, is Kua just going to once again play some vanilla, get some vanilla styles going, and potentially he can. I mean, that was such a good comeback in that last game. Gas first for BYUN. So he's going to be able to probably, normally with gas first, you do a 1-rax expand. So a bit of a greedy opening, but you get your tech up really quickly while getting an expansion. You can do double Reaper with it, but normally you'd open single Reaper with this opening into factory and then reactor. Swap those over for some Hellion production. And if Q is just not scouting or anything like that, or doesn't realize what he's up against, he could be in trouble against it. You can see he does the 18th SCV. Actually, sorry, that's the 17th SCV. This is the 18th SCV. So he scouts with his 17th SCV. He's going to check for proxies down here. You can see he's clicking. He's like, you proxying me, dickhead? Game 5. And it looks like now he just clicks that one across the map. He's actually A-moved the SCV across the map, interestingly. And now he's moved commanded it into the main, just searching for the command marker. Orbital command, Reaper on the way. He's going to go 1-rax expand. Oh, wow. So Kua going 1-rax expand. Now, BYUN'S doing the same thing. BYUN'S just doing it off of gas first. And Kua should be able to recognize, hey, your command center is 4 seconds later. So he might realize it's gas first. It's kind of hard to make that read, personally. I probably wouldn't make it. Kua is such a god that maybe he realizes it's gas first. And therefore, the factory is down at 1:54 seconds. His own factory shouldn't be down until a lot later, especially because he's going double Reaper. And actually, BYUN is going double Reaper here. Interesting. Now, that means you necessarily will hit a supply block here. So you see he pauses SCVs, starts a depot, and then restarts the SCV because depot takes a lot longer to build than an SCV anyway. So you can see he's hitting this supply block on 23. That's a pretty big supply block. I don't know if this was planned. This is why, like I said, you normally open single Reaper because you don't have enough money to go factory, second gas, and second depot, and a Reaper again at the same time. That's why the barracks has to go straight reactor. So you have one less supply being eaten up, and then you do it that way. But BYUN playing this a little bit of a different way to what I'm used to seeing. Kua, on the other hand, what the hell? Kua! Oh my god, he did this. Wasn't it Game 5 versus Innovation? Kua did this a couple years ago in GSL. Sick TvT series, Game 5. Actually, no, it was Innovation who did it. Innovation did it versus him. Innovation was like, yeah, I'm just going to play a blind 3 command center opening. And, yeah, just like cross my fucking fingers. Now, in this case, I think it's all right because he saw the command center. So he's like, oh, we're both expanding. I'm going to outgreed you. This is not a blind one. In that one, Innovation did it that way. Kua did a 1-base Mass Reaper Hellion attack and literally just killed him. And it was like the easiest win of his life, right? But this is not as much of a gamble. Kua scouted the command center. He says, you're going to be turtling for a while. I can just chill. And I think this could be a huge boost to his economy. He's already up a few SCVs. BYUN, remember, cut a few SCVs early in his build, and he's not really done anything with the tech. He is going Cloak now. He's built a good set of Reaper Hellion. I'd like to see him attack with that, because there's nothing to defend it right now. If he ran in with his Reaper Hellion, he literally kills like 7 SCVs here. What do we got? 2 Marines, a Reaper, 2 Hellions. I mean, I guess, yeah, maybe you don't kill that much. But worker-wise, it already looks bad for BYUN with that 3rd orbital coming up that he has no idea about. It's all going to be about these cloaked Banshees. Now, if BYUN can hide the Banshees, there's no Raven out, that's all good. But I'm pretty sure as the first Banshee pops out and heads across the map, we are going to see a Raven entering the production. And we do. It's going to pop out. He's going to have at least 1 Cyclone at home. Oh, this is a disaster of an opening for BYUN. Up against a Kua, who's done a very intelligent reaction. And once again, guys, Illidan Terran. BYUN playing completely blind all series long. And I think what we're seeing here is the power of scouting and reacting to your opponent, combined with everything else, right? Combined with understanding how they play. And it seems like this is going to be such an effective opening. I'm not saying BYUN's dead. He'll drop his 3rd CC soon and stuff like that, but when he sees this 3rd command center on location, he's going to have a little bit of a heart attack. Let's watch from BYUN's camera for the next minute as he kind of gets his first information, what his opponent's up to. So he sees a Cyclone. So first things first, he's like, oh, okay, this looks pretty standard. Probably don't want to send these Banshees in, so I'm just going to hide them off in the dead space, maybe bring him in later. Starts his own 3rd command center. He's got Ravens, tanks, Marines on the way. He has not seen that 3rd command center that's landed, and that's a bit of a problem for him. There's already people in chat preparing their excuses. BYUN probably has wrist problems, guys. He only has that when he plays in studio at live tournaments because he gets very stressed out and he tenses up too much. It's not something that he ever has online. Oh, Hellions and Reapers do pick off a few of the enemy Hellions there. Now, BYUN still does not know what he's up against, but if this is the only Cyclone and it's out on the map, I mean, honestly, for me, that might have been the prompt to pull the Banshees forward there. I might have tried to shove them in at that moment just because the Cyclone was out of position, but he's still waiting. So I think what BYUN's whole plan now is it's the real long game. It's the HODL game, guys. He's going to wait until he sees Kua's attack moving across the map with all the Ravens and Vikings, and then bam, Banshee arrives in the natural, Banshee arrives in the main. Good luck dealing with that. You're going to lose at least 10, 15 SCVs. It's going to be really hard to deal with. And that could make up for the fact that he's, of course, been mining less for a long time in this game. That 3rd base looking very juicy. Kua's at the point where even losing 10, 15 workers, he'd still be ahead. Yeah, BYUN there just wanted to check that his army wasn't pushing across the map because he's still rather blind. Kua doesn't have that much information. He has no idea. I love that the Banshees are just spaced so far. And they are going to max out on energy, which means they can cloak for like a minute and a half. I don't actually know how quickly it consumes energy, but if you have Banshees cloaked for a minute and a half, I mean, you're going to need detection. You're going to need that stuff. Kua, though, so happy to just chill here, guys. He's got the better army. He's got the better worker count. BYUN now lands his 3rd base. Still hasn't morphed into an orbital. The Banshees are going to go in right now. BYUN gets impatient. I think this is really bad. I think he should have done this earlier if he was going to do it at all. As it is, he's going to see what he can get. Earlier or later, one or the other is what I was saying. But he goes in, he gets 4, 5, 6 SCVs. It's kind of annoying to deal with already. And he's going to try and fly out of the main base. And he gets 12. That Banshee goes down. That Banshee goes down. 13 SCVs. He's got a bit of a push. Looking to be annoying here. I don't think he's going to find anything. And look at that. Super healthy. Already oversaturated base there for Kua. And Kua wants to fight. Kua's like, hey, let's go, dickhead. I've got so many units. I'm already pumping out 1-1 stim, all these upgrades. And I think as BYUN, I mean, he just doesn't have the context. He should look at that army and just know. He's an experienced enough player to know that's way more shit than you have. BYUN, shift gears strategically. He needs to recognize, I'm behind. I need to go home. I need to turtle, or I need to set up for a base trade. One or the other. Like, he cannot be playing the same game that he thought he would be playing going into this. He's going to try and siege his tanks there. Nice little ambush, but interference matrices could ruin him. Oh, he interference matrices both of Kua's Ravens, but he does only manage to kill one of them. And he's losing the Viking battle as well. Unless the Cyclone can get a lock, which it does get one. Not bad, not bad. Does tickle it down, but time to go home, BYUN. Time to go home. Kua there does not see that, but there we go. He scans. BYUN's still marauding around the map aggressively, which he has no business doing. If Kua just stims on him, he kills this army right now. BYUN is showing very poor judgment of just the pattern recognition. That is so many Marines. That's so many Marines. BYUN, you're so outnumbered. You're just going to get jumped on at some point here. I mean, Kua could even just send his Marines across the map. BYUN is threatening right now. We're watching a small puppy or a small kitten. You guys ever see someone's house cat, the domesticated cat, and the bear is rifling through the garbage? Right now, Kua is the bear, and BYUN is the domestic cat that has run up to it and has started hissing and scratching at it. The bear was running away till now, but now the bear's getting angry, and I'm telling you, this could end up bad. The move forward with the tanks was pretty nice here. Looks like he's chewing up the rally, but BYUN just has nothing at home. This Marine run by is going to kill everything. This is going to be an absolute slaughterhouse. The tanks there for BYUN, still forward on the other side of the map. Kua has such a huge army. The bear is angry. It takes 2 big tank shots, but 2 big tank shots will not be enough. The tanks on the other side are going to try and run home. He's trying to stim his Marines home. They're not too far away, but that's a dead command center. And he's already lost 14 SCVs. Is this enough for BYUN to deal with it? I mean, he's outnumbered on the Marine count drastically in this game, and this is just the way it is. Oh man, the SCVs are in the open though. He has to fight, and look at that. Kua killing so many workers, so many SCVs. BYUN just trying to be so aggressive, but just one big swipe from the bear, and the cat literally goes flying out of that security, home security camera footage. We can only imagine. It wouldn't be on YouTube. It wouldn't be on the internet though. Only on the dark web if something worse happened. If it was on camera, because we're pretty sure the kitten, if not splattered, it needs to go to the vet. It definitely needs to go to the vet and get some bones set. Let's put it that way. Random tank ambush, hoping to work in the middle of the map. But Kua here, just such a clever response with the 3cc. And BYUN played super blind, and when you play super blind, you open yourself up to clever play like that. I talked about Kua being the vanilla, triple vanilla flavored ice cream. Well, guess what? That triple command center response was actually some big brain, sick plays from him. I'm really impressed by it. I think it was awesome, and look at this. He's outpositioned BYUN. BYUN's like, oh crap, get back there. Too little, too late. And Kua will siege up there, but he can just pull his Marines back, and he's got position. The Marines can continue on into the natural. BYUN tries to come forwards with his Marine rally and a couple of tanks. But CG Tanky's not so mobile. And BYUN is going to have to tap out. Kua with a genius response. Let's just look at that at the very start of this game. I want to show you guys how quickly Kua responded at about the 1 minute 30 mark, I think it was, right? So let's go back even further. About a minute 40, minute 30, something like that. So yeah, if we watch this from Kua's camera, check out this big brain response. He's like, doing my 1-Rex expand build, super normal, super normal. Yep. All right, just building a repo, build a depot. He's like, oh, you're also doing a 1-Rex expand. Okay. Does he pull off gas? I don't think he does.
Command center upgrade.
I think he's just like, you know what? You know what? You know what I can do here? Let's go 2 Reaper into a command center. Okay, factory and then command center. Yeah. So like, we're just gonna do this like a TvZ, just with a second Reaper, but otherwise it's a TvZ opening. Get the command center. I'll get the reactor started. I mean, and then get the second gas. Delays the second gas a little bit, but just squeeze that third command center in there. You know there's not gonna be any aggression, and he just gets way ahead. BYUN, remember, got his first scouting in this game at like 6 minutes. He had no information up to that point. BYUN was like, oh. He like runs in and he's like, oh yeah, you have a gas and an expansion. And that's all he knows. He just doesn't know anything about what's happening in the game. Kua plays super solid, super safe. I do still think these Banshees should have waited, guys. So if you're going to wait till 7 or 8 minutes, you might as well wait till 10 minutes and just wait for him to push across the map, right? Or get in there while you're sieging the front. Now, he obviously was trying to do it while sieging the front, but this just wasn't that scary a push. And I guess it's just partially because he's so outnumbered. But great split on the Raven Viking to clean up both of these. Well played by Kua, and hats off to him for winning the championship. Bloody well played. Macro power overwhelming. GG Kua.